to your seat, baby, because this one's a screamer. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
What is going on, entertain? So today I'm coming to y'all with another portion of Who Did I Marry? Okay, hashtag I don't want you to marry. All right, Mama Joyce and the aunties need to come out with their own version of this and give their story about the horrors that Todd and the schemes that he came up with. But we left off on part 20, so let's get straight to it because we know Mrs. is long-winded than a mother.
Out to eat at this restaurant in Atlanta. It's a burger place, and I'm going to do my best by the time I post this to put the name of the burger place on the screen. So we go to the burger place, eat dinner, everything was fine. As we are leaving, he says to me, did I ever show you where my grandmother's buried? This is the grandmother that passed away from COVID in 2020. And I said, no. I was like, we haven't been over here. And so he was like, let me show you. So he drives us to the cemetery, which is not far from the restaurant. He drives us to the cemetery, goes around and around, and then it comes to like a little hill in the cemetery. And he was like, you see the headstone. The headstone had like the family name on it. And it did not have, for example, John David Doe. It just had Doe. Okay. So there were no dates on it. So it reminded me of just a headstone where it was probably multiple family members buried underneath it. That's what it reminded me of. And so he was like, my grandfather and my grandmother are buried there. I do recall him telling me when the grandmother died in 2020 that she wanted to be buried next to his grandfather. And so we're sitting in the car because we can see the headstone like on top of the hill from the car. And he tells me that is where his grandmother and grandfather are buried, that the family was able to get her, her wishes were to be buried next to the grandfather. Okay. So as we are leaving, we take a different route home. So we get on the highway. If you're from Atlanta, you'll know what I'm talking about. We get on I-75 North. And we're kind of we're just driving around, to be honest with you. But we're taking the scenic route. We get on I-75 North because the reason why I remember is because when you're on I-75 North going towards Atlantic Station, on the right-hand side, you will see the Varsity. You'll see all these tall skyscraper buildings. One of the buildings has the letters NCR on the building. As we're coming up towards the building, he says to me, do you see the NCR building? I said, yeah. He said, the building behind it, my job bought that building. That's where we're going to have, we're setting up operations. And I was like, why the hell would y'all buy a condiment company in downtown Atlanta? He was like, no, we're not doing production there. It's just going to be offices. And that's where we're going to handle like the business portion. The production is still being done in Gwinnett County out in Duluth. And so I was like, oh, okay. He was like, that's where I keep the company car. So I was like, the company car? I said, aren't you supposed to be bringing the company car home? And he was like, I don't want to bring the company car home because it's Clayton County and it's a $90,000 car. And I don't want no problems. So he's telling me that he keeps the company car at the building downtown Atlanta that's behind the NCR building. I barely could see what building he's talking about, but he was like, it's the building right behind it. And so he's telling me that that's where his office is. So I said to him, take me to your office. Mm-hmm. I know it's a Saturday, but shit, you one of the VPs, right? So take me to your office. No, I had not been to his office simply because, again, COVID. So I was like, take me to your office. And he was like, I can. He was like, that's no problem. So do I have the other phone? I do. So y'all are in luck. So I can maybe reenact how this goes. So he gets off the exit and starts driving towards the NCR building. while he's driving towards the NCR building, he always has kept his phone in his left pocket. This is my left hand. So he pulls his phone out and he starts calling. He tells me he's calling Willie. Willie is supposed to be the head of security. So he's saying, let me call Willie real quick to make sure that the building's open. So he proceeds. This is another phone, but he proceeds to go ahead and call Willie. We're still driving, by the way. We're still driving.
The thing is, people who lie so hard like that, you got time on your hands, bitch. Like, goddamn. That's like me coming on here and being like, oh, guys, I'm in a movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. We're filming right now. Like, I'm going to tell y'all the damn honest truth every time. Y'all not going to get no cap from me. Because it takes too much energy to just lie. Like, oh, you'll be exhausted by the time you tell the truth.
I'm on the phone, scrolling through Facebook, trying to figure out some random shit. But he's driving with the phone up to it. So driving with the phone, next thing I hear, hey, Willie, it's Legion. Hey, how's it going? I'm good. Hey, is the building open? No, I just want to take my wife up there so she can see it and see my office. Are you up there right now? You're not?
I keep seeing posts of this man. Let me not be mean to her, because this funny looking motherfucker, you let play you like this, big head, big as a bowling ball. I'll be damned. This is why I'm telling you, I'm very standoffish to people like, you're not gonna play me. What you think this is? Are you crazy? No.
Fine. Okay, is Mr. Justin working? Okay. So is there anybody up there that can physically open the building? Because I don't think my badge is going to get me at least in the front door because of it's on the weekend lock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let me know. All right. Thank you, Willie. Bye. Y'all see how I did that? He's having this whole conversation while I'm sitting in the passenger seat. So then he gets off the phone and he says to me, Willie is not working and Justin apparently called out sick. So the building is locked and my badge won't get us in the front door. He was like, Willie's going to see if there's someone else that can open the front door so we can actually get in. He's like, my badge will get us on the floor, but it will not get us in the front door. No one ever called. So when he's getting off the highway, he basically turns onto Spring Street. Again, there's all kinds of shit I distinctly remember. He turns onto Spring Street so that he can then get on 75 South so we can go home. Never saw the office that day. But again, this is where he's saying that he keeps the company car. So when we get to part 21, I'll kind of go into detail about the whole company car a little bit more. Part 21, who the fuck did I marry? So the company car apparently was a charcoal gray BMW. I believe it was a 5 Series. It was a 5 Series. I don't know much about the sedans. Y'all know I wanted the X5 dark blue with the cognac color. He got the BMW 5 Series charcoal gray. He sent me a picture of the car. So I did see a picture of the car. After this whole NCR building, take me to your office, that is what he's claiming, is that he leaves the company car at that location. He's saying that he drives from Riverdale to Midtown, switches out cars, and then drives from Midtown to Duluth. Those that don't know how Metro Atlanta is, basically Midtown would be in between where we live and Duluth. I only know that he left the house every day at 6:15. I know that I never physically saw the company car come to our home. Saw a pictures, plural. So when he told me that he got a BMW 5 Series Keep in mind, this is after I had been promised a dark blue X5.
Mm.
So I was a bit salty. I don't care if it is a company car. I was a bit salty. I will admit that. Because I felt like you get to drive the car that I really want, which is a BMW. And so he would call me from the car. He would tell me, yeah, I may just drive home in this car and not switch back to his personal car. He was like, I don't know. He did that a lot. And I realize now in 2024, he did that because he knew how excited I was to actually see the car. Because shit, I wanted to test drive it myself, to be honest with you. And he knew that. So reactions. So he would say stuff like that, like, man, I'm so tired. I might just drive the company car, go ahead and go home. And then, just let me park it in a garage type thing. So eventually he stopped doing that because I didn't want to hear nothing about that car. I'm driving a Nissan and you driving a BMW after you promised me a BMW. So I don't really want to hear nothing about it. So in terms of the company car, I did see that it was
what an ass.
According to the pictures, a charcoal gray. If you're asking me the exact model, I don't know. But I know it was a 5 Series because I know the 7 Series is slightly longer. So it's a 5 Series sedan. So after the whole situation with the cemetery to see his grandmother and grandfather's headstone, then there was the NCR, the office is open. Oh, it's not open. Justin ain't working. Willie ain't working. Willie is supposed to be head of security, but he ain't working. Okay. So at this point, I'm already numb. It is important for me to point out how numb I became dealing with him. Mind numbing, because I just got to a point where it was like, there's always something. There's always something. So of course we're not going to go to the office because there's going to be something. So this is the end of February. My birthday had already passed. There clearly was tension on my end, not so much tension on his end. So I get home a couple of weeks later. We are now in the beginning of March. This is something personal about me. The only way you would know this is if you know me. I have been
cognac interior. Shut up.
Dying to go to London and Paris. I had a layover in London when I did a study abroad, but it's not the same. I want to go to London and be a whole tourist. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I want to see Buckingham Palace. I want to see the Tower of London. I want to see Paris. I want to see the Palace of Versailles. This is something, if you know me, you know she wants to see Paris. She wants to see London. So I get home from work. This is the beginning of March. I get home from work, and on the counter is a folder with like a little bow on it. And I'm like, oh, what is this? Is this like mail? Like, was this something that you got at work? He's like, nah, it's a surprise for you.
Mm-hmm.
I open up the folder. Inside the folder is like a trip itinerary. It is not an actual booked trip. It's like an itinerary. A trip for two to go from Atlanta to London. The trip should have happened, and it was the month on there was like July, so it was a summer trip. So he tells me, I'm gonna take you to London. He was like, I wanted to take you for your birthday, but certain things fell through. He was like, so this summer in July, we're going to go to London. He was like, I've already made a reservation for us to stay at the Savoy. Again, there are certain things that my brain just was like, remember that. He said, I've already made a reservation for us to stay at the Savoy. I know as much as I want to go to London, y'all, I didn't know anything about the Savoy. And so I remember going to look it up because I was like, what is the Savoy? Well, apparently the Savoy is bougie, very bougie.
Yeah.
So I was so excited. I cannot tell y'all
Celebrities go to the Savoy.
how fucking excited I was when I saw that he had printed out British Airways. Like, he was speaking my language. I am one of those people, I'm a planner. So when he's saying, I'm going to take you to London, and he took the time to research flights and print it out and research the Savoy and print it out. And there were different, not excursions, but there were different things that you could do. You could go see the Tower of London. You could go see Buckingham Palace, changing of the guard. We could go have high tea at certain places. He was like, I don't really want to go, but I know you're dying to go. So he was like, you know, I love you and I would do anything for you. Blah, blah, black sheep, have you any wool? And so he was like, I'm going to take you to London in July. The trip did not include Paris. That's fine. But I was so excited. So excited. And so this is the beginning of March. I was like, this is great. Hopefully this happens. I knew I needed to renew my passport. And he was saying that he had to renew his passport as well because his passport had expired. So both of them to try to make it to London in July, and it's now March. Me being the planner I am, I think I went to work the next day and printed out the passport applications so that we could fill it out and go ahead and get that process going. So, needless to say, something must have happened, and I don't remember what it was. We just simply didn't fill out the application for the passport. So, fast forward, we're now at mid-March. Mid-March, the decision was made that my mom, who lived in Arkansas, was coming to visit us. She would be coming, I believe, the second week of April, and she was going to stay a week and then a few days. So, like, maybe a total of 9 days. Not quite 2 weeks, but a little over a week. So she was coming in April, and I was excited. Legion was excited because he was excited to physically meet my mom. He had talked to her on Zoom. He had talked to her on the phone, but he was excited to physically meet my mom. And my mom was excited to physically meet her son-in-law. So this is mid-March. I'm going to go into part.
That's a mistake right there. She's so close to her family, regardless of COVID or not. You marry somebody that your mom physically never met. It's one thing to meet a nigga over Zoom, but energy does not lie. A physical energy, your mama would have told you, hey, that nigga up to no good. I'm just saying.
Part 22, where I explain what happened with Facebook Messenger.
Oh, Lord.
Part 22.
Y'all know I don't like Facebook. It's one of some old nosy people.
Who the fuck did I marry? So now we are in March. This is right after he had surprised me with the announcement of we're going to go to London for a trip in July. Because we definitely didn't do a honeymoon. We definitely didn't do any sort of trips together. So the idea was we're going to do a trip in July together. One thing about Legion was that he was the guy who was like, I have nothing to hide. I don't lie. I don't like liars. If we're in a relationship, then everything should be out in the open. So I've always had his cell phone passcode. Never felt the need to look through his cell phone. And funny enough, I can tell y'all right now, disclaimer, I will never go through a cell phone again. You cheating piece. So anyway, so one day, this is mid-March, going like around March 20th. So we're heading in.
She's long-winded, guys. I'm sorry.
He was in the shower. Keep in mind, my mom is coming for a visit in April. So he was in the shower and he received a text message on his phone from a woman.
Okay.
The text message, because it was a preview. So the text message was something where if you didn't know the context of the text thread, you could either go left or you could go right with it. So me being just curious, I opened up the phone, put the passcode in, read the text, then read the thread. Come to find out, it was a text from his aunt. His aunt and his ex share the same name. That's why I say it could go left or it could go right. Text was from the aunt. So I looked at the text, went through the thread, nothing in there. So I went ahead, X out of the messages. I see that he has Facebook Messenger downloaded. And obviously it shows you the number of unread messages in the icon. So it showed that he had like 5 unread messages. So I clicked on it, just being nosy. And what do my wondering astigmatism eyes see? So in his Facebook Messenger is about 7 women.
Ooh.
I can see their profile picture and I see their names. Some of them had a preview. The ones that he had not read, I could see the preview of the message. One in particular said, "When are you gonna come get this?"
Oh,
y'all know what I'm talking about.
See, I would have been slick. I would have put the same thing he put on me. I would have said, text him while I'm at work, be like, "Oh, I got sick," while he's at work, right? "Oh, I got sick and went home early." Some lady put up in her panties and bra and said she want that big black cock. That must be your ex. You got to play his game. I think that's where she lacked.
Well, I clicked on that one first. And I'm reading through the thread. And so she's saying, "When are you going to come get this?" But earlier in the thread, or further back in the thread, he had asked her, "When are you going to give me?" And she said, "When lockdown is over." So from what I could piece together, he had not yet physically gotten with her. But had there been no COVID, oh, he would have smashed all day, every day.
Ooh.
The other messages were innuendos, meaning the other messages from the other women were innuendos. They were not as graphic as the one between him and her. So I'm reading these messages, and what is interesting is that the person I am married to is not the person in these messages. Like, this man was on some nasty shit.
Ooh.
And I say nasty not in a judgmental way, but in a, with me, he seemed to act as if I was damn near virginal white. And I clearly see evidence that you into some shit that with me, you acting like, nah, I ain't really into that. So I confronted him. I absolutely confronted him and was like, "What the fuck is this? If 2 + 2 is 4 and 5 + 5 is 10, what the fuck is this?" And so he did not, "Oh, that ain't what happened, blah, blah, blah." Instead, what he hit me with is, "Man, I was just playing around. Like, ain't nothing happened. I shouldn't have said all that, but I was just flirting. It ain't mean nothing."
Sigh is all I'm gonna say. Sigh.
I don't even know that girl. I was just flirting. And so I'm like, "Is this what you into?" And so he was like,
She
"No."
need to be a little bit more descriptive and stop leading us on, bitch. Stop edging us. Is he into edging? What kinky things is that nigga into? His ass ate? Because he looks like a type of nigga that does. Sorry. What is it? Kind of on us? Like, what is it?
"Oh, it's not what I'm into. It was just stupid. It was stupid because I shouldn't have done it." So I'm going to be honest with y'all, because I've been honest all this time. What pissed me off the most was that here I am as a woman behaving, trying to do the right thing by him and this marriage. And you mean to tell me you out here offering your dingaling to random chicks that you don't even know?
You see, her mentality is already kind of off. Not saying something wrong with her, but behaving isn't the right word to use in a marriage. You're acting like a wife. Behaving is crazy. You're not a dog. Speaking of little mother or chocolate, he's acting out of control. That's why I keep looking off to the side. Now he needs to behave, but he's an animal. Yeah, I'm talking about you, bitch. You see what I'm saying? That's somebody who needs to behave. Not a human, adult human in a relationship.
I was more angry at the fact that I'm like, dude, do you know how much I have turned down
Oh.
in order to be faithful to your dumb ass? And I'm seeing that you basically are out here acting like you got Skittles taste the rainbow. I was hurt. I was angry. I thought about getting my lick back. I'm just being honest, I did. And he played it off like it ain't nothing serious. It ain't nothing
Now,
serious.
would you get your lick back with the ex that pulled up and backed his car? The ghost, really, because that never happened.
Don't overreact. Don't get emotional. It was just dumb. He was like, I will delete the messages. I'll even delete Messenger. And I told him, I was like, that's really not good enough, because that's not going to fix the root of the issue. So this is where I introduced that we need to do marriage counseling. He didn't have any issue doing marriage counseling. We did not do premarital counseling, but he was like, that's fine. He was like, I don't have no problem doing marriage counseling because if anything, it can help us. So I thought that, okay, he may not have physically cheated from what I could see on the messenger. He may not have physically cheated.
For me, that's still cheating. I don't give a crap. If you're communicating with someone, potentially meeting up with someone and planning on meeting up with somebody, to me, that's a form of cheating. We need to stop blurring the lines and just call it cold and dry. You trying to kiss on somebody, you cheating. You on somebody, you cheating. You trying to link up with somebody, you're cheating.
But he damn sure got caught, doing a little something, because they had exchanged pictures. So y'all know what pictures he sent. And I was disappointed because I don't like men that send those type of pictures. But anyway, that's another issue. So we agreed that we would start marriage counseling. We also agreed that we would put on a united front when my mom got there. In other words, we were not going to argue. We, let's just act like everything is fine. But at that point, when my mother arrived in April, I could not stand him. I did not want to be, but we couldn't. He moved back into our bedroom because he had moved into the guest bedroom when I saw the messages. Like 3 days before she came, he moved back into the bedroom because obviously she needed to sleep somewhere. So I really could not stand him. And it was because I was busy second guessing myself, like, damn, what's wrong with me? Like, if that's what you into and I'm supposed to be your wife, like, let's have conversations. Like, shit, I went to FAMU. I understand some stuff, buddy. So it just was one of those things where
She's a Florida girl. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now this is even more disappointing, bitch. You went to FAMU and you let a big-headed bowling ball ass nigga mess with you like this? And you a Florida girl. And you went to FAMU. So you know them niggas when you could come across them. That's crazy.
Made me second guess, like, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? What is it that she got that I don't? Because you all out here willy-nilly, messing.
And with the FAMU detail she just added in, that nigga he like his ass ate. Sorry.
Her all hours of the night, because the thread went back quite a few weeks. I saw it in March. There were messages from December, November. So again, I'm just second guessing all kinds of stuff, self-esteem taking a hit. So no, I did not want to be around him. I did not want, I didn't like him, period. I did not like him. I left and I would just go for a drive because driving clears my mind. I called my aunt, told her what happened. I don't recommend that. I don't recommend calling family to tell them what's going on in your marriage. But I called my aunt, and my aunt lovingly was like, what do you want me to say? You married him. He ain't your boyfriend. Y'all can't just break up. That's the hard part about marriage, is like, I mean, yeah, I guess you could leave him, but at the same time, you married him.
Where you gonna
So,
go, bitch? That's what she really wanted to say.
honey, you gonna have to go back home. And y'all are gonna have to figure this out. She was like, I can't give you advice on what you should do. I'm sorry that this happened, but you married him. So even though it was just one drive, I went back home, and that's when the discussion was, we need to do marriage counseling. Part 23. Who the fuck did I marry? So we agreed to do marriage counseling. I had found a pastor and his wife who agreed to do our counseling, basically. Our counseling was going to be on Zoom, and it was going to be every other week, every other Tuesday. Initially, Legion was participating in it. His body language seemed to be that he was open and receptive to the marriage counseling. Now, the pastor and his wife were deeply concerned at the fact that we had only been married 3 months, and we were already dealing with some form of infidelity. We were in marriage counseling, and as the pastor would put it, there seems to not be any sort of intimacy. Fully so, I think any person would be if they knew what was going on within those 3 months. So, the pastor and his wife, it is fair to note, we started counseling with them in the spring. We continued counseling with them up until a week before I found out what I found out, and he got kicked out. So, one of the first things that the pastor kind of talked to us about was, um, are you what was the deal with the Facebook Messenger stuff? And Legion was like, it was stupid.
And Legion, he looks like the type that would fall for those Facebook Messenger sex ads. If y'all know and y'all use Facebook Messenger, and I only have it just due to if anybody contacts me like business wise, I don't use it to contact friends and stuff. I'm not even on Facebook like that. But there's like these ads that be like, want free sex now? Dial 9225. He's the type of nigga that was probably talking to one of those too. So girl, don't feel too bad.
I shouldn't have done it. It really was just attention, and I got carried away. He felt like he was not going to, he kept saying, I'm not going to keep apologizing. I'm not going to keep getting persecuted. After I told you, I'm sorry, I told you I wouldn't do it again, and I want us to move forward. You're either going to forgive me or you're not. Pastor and his wife were like, wow, the audacity is real on this one. So, needless to say, we started moving slowly forward. It was always in the back of my mind, just like it was in the back of my mind with that black Dodge Charger. It was one of those things where, okay, I see how you kind of are moving and operating. He came to me a few days after we started our first counseling session, and he was like, we should get a joint bank account.
Ooh.
What he wanted to do was to each one of us have our own account, and to get a joint account for our money to go in there for joint expenses. Now, up until this point, he had been paying the rent, the utilities, and I really was just paying for my stuff. So now he's suggesting, look, we're married now, let's go ahead and get a joint account. I wasn't necessarily against it because I knew that I would still have my own account. I would still have my own savings. So what I countered with was, okay, let's take a look and see what we're working with. Show me your checking. Let's look at each other's accounts. Look at what we have currently. He was cool with that. So he shows me his checking account. His checking account available balance was it was just over 9,600. Mine's was just over 1,500. So there was a huge disparity in the amounts. And so he logged in on the phone and turned it towards me, and I could see available checking, available balance, just over 9,600. I logged into my savings. I showed him how much I had in savings. He logged into, picked up his phone, logged into his Chase savings, turned the phone towards me. In the Chase savings, it was roughly about 15,000. But I also knew that he told me he had a US bank savings and he had an offshore savings. So at this point in time, I asked him, show me the US bank savings, show me the other two accounts. He would not do it. This became a huge bone of contention.
I will say, although he was a liar, one thing I don't like about her, she's a little money hungry, in my opinion. Like, very much like, oh my God, the coin, the coin, the coin, versus looking at him as a person. And that's why she fell deep the way that she did. I'm just saying. Because clearly he must have some sort of money if he was paying these bills all this time. I mean, goddamn, where you like this? He sure as hell is not getting passes on them. But he's like, he doesn't know a person that know a guy. The bills got to get paid. I'm just saying.
He would not show me the two accounts that he claims has the most money in there, the accounts that he claims has money for a house in there, because he still was mentioning, hey, we need to get on this house thing if we're going to move when the lease is up. So I'm just adamant on, why don't you want to show me your savings account? You showed me the Chase one. Like, what is the big deal? And so he kept saying, he was like, there's a lot of money in there. And he was like, and my uncle always taught me, this is not the uncle that died, another uncle. My uncle always told me, just keep your money tight because women can be, I said, women,
Stack up your paper.
like, we're
best revenge is your paper.
married. So go ahead and show it to me. He would not show it to me.
Ooh.
So then we went back into marriage counseling, like the next session, and I bring it up. I said, he will not show me these two accounts that he claims has the money in there to buy a house. I told our pastor and his wife, I said, I saw the pre-approval letter, so I don't understand why he's not going to show me to just put.
Which, by the way, I don't want to negate that because, of course, it makes sense, especially with him promising it. But I feel like she got lured in with the comfortability that he provided versus him in his character.
Me at ease that he has the money in there. I had never questioned it before because, again, you tell me who in their right mind signs their name to a legally binding offer, an all cash offer on a house, and they just do it willy nilly. I don't know anyone that does that. So I actually never questioned what was in the savings because I clearly saw him sign his name to a $699,000 all cash offer on a house. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back to the parts in this playlist where I talk about what he did when we were looking for a house. So the pastor and his wife were like, Legion, that's not his name, y'all, that's a nickname. Legion, why would you not show your wife your savings account? Like, what's going on here? And so he made up some bullshit. And I remember the pastor's wife was like, something ain't right. And so at this point, Legion kind of shuts down. He's just like, look, y'all are not gonna tell me when and where I open up my accounts to show anybody the money I earned. I earned that money. I earned that money by playing football, blood, sweat, and tears. He went to this whole Denzel Washington monologue about how he earned that money, and no one, no woman, no one is going
All
to.
my life I've had to fight. You don't know what I had to do with that money. Y'all remember I said it off? I need that goddamn money, Cleo.
Come in and tell him that he needs to open up the account. So then he starts talking about the ex-wife and how she tried to get money from him in the divorce back when they were in California. So now the pastor and his wife, their red flags are just like, whoa. So much so that the pastor's wife said, and I will never forget this, she said, I don't think you all are going to make it to January. What she was talking about is, I don't think y'all are going to make it a year.
Ooh.
I really truly was like, we're gonna make it. Like, of course we're gonna make it. And she was just like, I don't have a good feeling about it. And so Legion's all defensive. He at this point he's folding his arms and because remember we're on Zoom, he's folding his arms and he's just like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm not gonna get attacked because I'm not comfortable showing you the amount of money that I have. Money changes people. And I'm not comfortable. So he's playing that victim card. Um, and so the pastor and his wife were like, we're still gonna help y'all as much as we can, but so he was like, I'm not comfortable. And basically, the pastor and his wife were like, look, we'll help y'all as much as we can, but there's some deep issues here. And, this is what they advised us. Had the two of you came to us for premarital counseling, we would have told you, do not get married.
Ooh.
Y'all should not even be together. That is what our, that is what
See, I like whoever pastor and wife that is great. Because one thing church people will do will lie to your face and say, prayer and work through it. Sometimes things just don't work. So thankfully they were honest. Damn. I know her heart stuck to her asshole when the lady said that.
the pastor and his wife told us in marriage counseling. If you two had come to us for premarital counseling, we would have told you, y'all should not even be together, let alone get married. But here we are. So we will help you guys as much as we can. But the pastor's wife was like, I don't have a good feeling that y'all are going to make it a year. Part 24, who the fuck did I marry? So remember, we're in April. We're now moving towards the end of April. And he still did not show me his savings account. Saw the checking, saw the Chase savings. So he decides that we should start looking for a house again because my lease was up in August. And I made it very clear that when the lease is up, I am moving. I wanted to move to Cobb County. So he was like, we need to get the ball rolling. I didn't want any parts of it. Didn't want any parts of it. He found a realtor. This time it was a woman. It was a woman. And I believe her name was Amber. I think her name was Amber. So he found a realtor and kind of.
Anytime I think of a woman Williter, I think of the Love and Hip Hop scene when Kalina and Carly and Jock were looking at the house, and then Carly said, "Are you fucking my man?" And she said, "I absolutely am." Hopefully, we don't get that out of this story.
He told her what the budget was. Amber started finding houses. Mm-hmm. So please understand, or you don't really have to understand, but I believed he was a sane, rational human being. Sane enough that you would not sign an offer on a home if you didn't have the money. That's what I believed. So when we started working with Amber, I believe, showed us 3 or 4 houses. It was not nearly as many as the other realtor, Scott. So one of the houses, absolutely loved. Ugh, I love the house. I really wanted to put in an offer on that house, and I'm going to post it on the screen. The house, love that house. It was just absolutely beautiful. And once again, he wanted to put in an all cash offer on the house. But before he could put in he had told Amber, I want to put in an all cash offer. And what Amber the woman was smart enough to say is, okay, let's just go ahead and take it one step at a time. Let's go ahead and get your pre-approval stuff together. She said, I work with a great lender who, if you're not already pre-approved, he can get you pre-approved, no issues. And then if you want to do an all cash offer, then we'll go ahead and get the proof of funds together so that way we can submit it all with your offer. Jesus. Y'all already know what happened because you remember what happened on the last house with Scott.
He did not want to show proof of income.
Basically, Legion was like, well, I can get you whatever you need. That's fine. But I really don't want to submit proof of funds.
Oh, Lord.
Unless they accept the offer. Amber, and I don't know where she is. I don't even know if she'll ever see this video. Anyway, let me keep going and I'll explain why that woman has a special place in my heart. So Amber was like, I totally understand, but this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to need.
Sometimes you got to hit people with that when they try to get around. So be like, yeah, I get. But we're like, yeah. The woman probably told her, this nigga ain't shit. He cheating on you and he lied about his income. He hit her with the Kelly Price. There's people in your life that is plotting behind you and is trying to be your downfall. But she had them big old eyes outside in the parking lot.
Need that paperwork, okay, and we'll submit it with your offer. She just simply was like, yeah, this is how we're going to do it. And so he did not submit the paperwork when she had asked him to. And I remember I was driving to work and I stopped at the Quick Trip on Upper Riverdale Road in Riverdale, Georgia. And Amber had called me. It was in the morning. She had called me. And I believe with all my heart that Amber knew something was up, but she also knew I did not know what was up. So she called me and she was like, I just don't understand. Like, if he has the paperwork, like, you can submit the paperwork. But the issue was the Chase paperwork that I had was from a year prior. So my understanding was that it pretty much was no good at this point. So she said all he has to do is just email it to me or take a picture of. She was like, I just need to know that he's able to back up his offer. And I said, I totally get it. And she was explaining some stuff to me. She was like, he needs to do X, Y, and Z. And so I said to her, I remember I said, I don't know what's going on. I said, I'm going to get down to the bottom of it, but I don't know what's going on. And so let's put a pause on this whole thing. Let's put a pause on looking at houses. Let's put a pause on getting his pre-approval letter because I'm not sure what's going on. And she got quiet and she said, okay. I said, and I know this sounds weird. And she said, no. She said, that is actually very smart. She said, do your research. And if I can be of assistance, call me. She said, whether you buy a house with him or you buy a house on your own, I will be more than happy to represent you. I don't know where Amber is today, but that one sentence, I felt like just woman to woman, she was basically telling me,
you put your trust in the nigga, duh, bitch. That fuck ass nigga ain't shit. You old silly hoe, dumb silly hoe. That nigga ain't going you, don't mean you no good. Oh silly hoe, dumb silly hoe. That nigga don't mean you no good. That's what she was gonna say, but she said the professional way.
something ain't right. Baby, something ain't right. and now you need to open your eyes. I'll be more than happy to work with you. Um, if y'all get your shit together, I'll work with both of you. But whether you buy a house or not, do your research and then let me know what I can do. That was our conversation at the Quick Trip on Upper Riverdale Road. So I got off the phone. Um, that was the last time that we worked with any sort of realtor. That was the last time that we looked at any sort of house. Um, and I don't know, I don't remember exactly what happened after that meeting that day. I do know that when I went home, I simply told him, I don't want to look at a house right now. I said, I think it's okay if we rent. We'll just find a house in Cobb County and just rent for a year. And let's build, save some more money. Let's just let's not worry about buying a house right now. And basically what I was trying to do was save face, because that was the first time with Amber that I actually was embarrassed at the fact that we he and I, because I felt like I was complicit in the fact that I'm going to look at houses with him. I felt like we are wasting these people's time. I did not mean to waste your time. I clearly see my time as being wasted, but that doesn't mean I need to waste your time. And I felt embarrassed at the fact that we wasted her time coming across as serious buyers. When time came to put up or shut up, nothing was put up. And I knew nothing. I had nothing to add to add to this, because we're talking about a $650,000 house, and you know, I don't make that. I don't make anywhere near that. So it just became one of those situations where I was trying to save face. I was trying to save face with my husband, and I was trying to save face with Amber. And so I did say to him, let's just rent for another year, and then let's see um, at that time where we are, if we should go ahead and buy. So now is when shit is about to get real. Part 25.
Okay, we're gonna end it there. It's been about an hour, so we'll leave off with part 25. I plan on finishing it out this weekend, so stay tuned for these videos. From these parts that were shown, it shows you how his manipulation went into just getting her hopes up. He got off, like she said, ooh, with her getting her hopes up. Like that's something that made her feel nice. But I also kind of blame her because she was so comfortable with the secureness that she felt from him financially that like you didn't realize he was a piece of crap. So that's what's really sad about the whole entire thing. Okay. Let me know what y'all think about these parts. Stay tuned for more of these videos, and we're out, babies.
No personal thing.